Hi, welcome back for the creation of our card game with Battle Grid. Today we are going to pass the data that we created in the last video from the array to the cards. This because we don't want to mess up the array. I just give you one example so it's easy to understand. Let's say you give a power up to your card and then increase the armor of the card. Then the card is destroyed, and so they say that from the armor 2 you pass to armor 4, then the card is destroyed, then you have another card or another event, something like that, that can let you resurrect the card or may create a new one from scratch, but without power up. Then when you create the power up, if you use the array, the database with all the information, and modify the information there, then the new card that you just resurrected will have the armor already set to 4 rather than 2 as it should be, because when it's resurrected, let's say you don't have the power up you got from before. So you want to avoid this kind of mess. Same thing apply for HP left, this kind of stuff. So it's always better to keep this information separate in different place. So that's why we're going to create an instance variable for our cards so we don't confuse the thing. First of all, when we go on the card, we use robot number as instance variable. I want to change this because as we discussed on Patreon, we want to change the game a little bit. So there are not only robots, but also there will be, as I said before, power up, other special effect as cards. So identify the cards as a robot when actually some cards are not robots, but I don't know, healing something or repairing, whatever. So it's not really exactly, a little bit confusing. So I'm just going to change the name of the instance variable from robot number to card number. So we just stay generic at this stage. Now I need to make sure that I don't use this value anywhere in the game. I should have only one comment somewhere, but I'll double check. So to double check, I just go and search this value here. Okay, so card number is sorry, I need to search for robot underscore number and see where else I use this robot. So here I can see that should be in one of these cards. Okay, that I have to do again, so no problem here. I don't know, I didn't get the first one, the first enter, nothing here, and here I just comment here. So this comment will change in card number, double check again, and it's gone. Okay, so now we are sure that we don't have anywhere on the project that reference, so we don't make we don't mess up the situation in case we have to put the hands on the code after a while and we don't remember why we have something that is not really connected everywhere else. Just update the number of the version. Always try to update and keep a different copy of the game. So after this, we are going to actually create the instance variable for the card. I just select the card. I can just go on the database here, so I have quite well the big numbers and names of the variables, the constant we use to identify the array index, and then basically we go here. Sorry, I will have to again use this magnifier. That probably is not the best tool here, but I will do my best to let you see what I'm going to do. So basically all these values here, this variable will be instance variable, with some exception that we'll see in 1 second. So first of all, to be name, it's fine, it will be text variable. The second one will be type, and even this one will be text. Then we'll have movement. Movement, we will have two variation. Movement left is a number, and then another one will be movement max. This because we want to keep track about what's the actual movement available for the robots when we start keeping moving, in case they move more than one time per turn. And also we want to keep track about what's the maximum value. We can also take the maximum value from the database, but first of all, a little bit more annoying because I had to do one extra check to go to pick up on the database. But second thing is probably also the most important, as I said before, if for any reason I'm going to increase the max movement of the robot because I will put an upgrade to the card, then this value is going to mess up on the database. That's why we want to keep track of these two values separately as instance variable. Same thing will be for hit points. So I will have here hit points left. You can use any name you like, but just hit point max. Usually when I make games, I just use hit point and hit point max, but just to make it a little bit clear for you, so it's easier to understand what's happening. Of course, you can use your favorite way as long as you understand. So we have armor. Then we have to do range, then range damage, and the last one is melee damage. Okay, so now we have all our variables as instance variable of every card. And still inside the event sheet cards database, we're going to create a new function, and we call the function assign card stats. Okay, let's add a comment. This for the construct2 users. Parameter 0 equals card number underscore number. Of course, if you use construct3, if you give a proper name to the parameter, you don't have this issue. You can still add a comment as usual, of course, to make clear. Then we want to add a sub event, and then we check if card compare instance variable, if the instance variable card underscore number is equal to function dot parameter 0. This in case, of course, construct2, construct3, you have the name of the parameter here directly. Then we go on. So first of all, before I continue, I want to go and call the function and pass the parameter, so we don't forget about this, and then we come back here. So we call this from the event sheet board. Basically, when we want to assign the values from the array to the card, when we take the card from our deck and we put it on our hand. We could do probably even before, when you create the array and the deck of the two player, but I prefer to do it this way, and doesn't change much. So basically here, when we do double click, we call pick card as a function, and I go pick card after all the assign or position of the card, the variables. I'm going to call the new function that is assign card stats, and I pass a parameter. The parameter I'm going to pass is card dot card underscore number, and of course the card is already filtered by all these events and the double click we did at the beginning on the deck. So that's it. for this side. So we go back again on the function. Once again, this to make things easier for constructor users, I add one local variable that we call n, so I don't have to repeat function dot parameter of 0. And first of all, here I'm going to system set value of n to function dot parameter 0. Okay, this occurs as before, say many times. If you don't have many events left, you can still put this inside here and move everything on top. But I keep in this way so it's easy for me to collapse and make it clear for you when I explain. Okay, so at this point we just need to do the proper things that we want to do, and we can start to assign all these all the values in the array in these instance variables here. So we start with the first one, card set value of name to array cards dot at, then open brackets. Now I write the instance variable n for constructor user, or the parameter you use for in constructor tree, and then I type name. As you can see, now the constant we used in the last video are once again useful for us to understand what are we doing, so I don't have to go and search which number is the address, the index of the where the data is. So much easier in this way. I'm going to copy this and do the same thing for type. Just change from name to type. See how much it's easier, faster, rather than just try to catch up with numbers. Okay, movement left, I give a values of movement. I copy this and I do the same thing for movement max. Basically, I just need to change the type of variable I want to pass the information to. The address of the array is still a movement, so it's movement for both. Same thing for hit points left, and we pass hit points, and hit points max, we still pass hit points. Now we have armor. Then we have range. Now range damage. And finally we have melee. So melee damage is melee damage here. Okay, so that's done. Nothing else to do. I just go to double check with the debug. That's the only way to check at this stage. Open the wrong. I didn't select. Okay. Okay, so we have now array cards. I can make it bigger from this way, so you can see the array data as the last video. We have only the two first robots. I haven't done the others yet, so we need to go to search for these two robots because we haven't other cards with values, otherwise it will be just 0. So we go and try to get the card. Hopefully we get the good one. Actually, just take a card to see if there are in the game. Okay, there are for player number 2. Okay, and you can see Creton. Okay, type robot, movement left 2, HP left 2, armor 4, range 0. Range 0 is something wrong. I might have done a mistake. let's have a look where I did a mistake. So it's still good to double check because you can see that sometimes we do errors. Okay, because armor I didn't click well on range. So now it should fine, but I have to do again the bug. Let's have a look if we get lucky with the cards. We got robots because I remember that some cards are not in the game. Let's see. In the meantime, as usual, if you have any question, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to reply to every one of you as soon as I have a little bit of time. And if you like the video, you can click like and subscribe and so on. But the first most important things that really help me is that if you share this video around, because really I don't have much time to do promotion. So it's really a big help for me. Okay, let's see if I get this card right. Okay, Creton robot, movement left 2, movement max 2, HP 2, armor 1, range 4, range damage 3, and melee damage 2. Okay, so it's quite well, it's working fine. And take the chance to say thank you again very much to everyone supporting me on Patreon. That helping not only to sponsor these videos, but also because together we discuss about how to improve, what type of tutorial you want to see, and so on. If you want to participate in creating this tutorial, you are very welcome to join us. And also I keep in mind that if anyone has a question, I give always priority to anyone that supports me on Patreon. So if you're not supporting Patreon, please be patient because I have to give them a priority because of course they are really supporting me a lot. And that's it. The next video we are going to basically, rather than check here the values, we are going to select the card and display the values on player 1 or player 2. So it will be more interesting, something to see with like all the messaging, set up the video at the game for send proper message to one player or to the other player. I think it will be something unusual. Didn't see many videos related to this thing, so I hope it will be helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.